wanted to present something that we were doing that I was doing for on and off for last year. It started all with the idea that we have noticed that how you usually do the port is that you copy some machine which is similar enough, and then you modify. The problem that it results is, like, for example, we had a case where in the port of X230, we would have code which would initialize the audio codec of Butterfly machine, which is one of the Google Chromebooks. X230 does not have this chip. It has a different audio chip. This at best was going to nowhere. At first, it was modifying some random register in unrelated chip. And quite few bugs slip through this way because it was copied and not modified, or that it's a code which shouldn't have been copied to begin with. And then most of the information in this code is actually pretty easy to discover. It's you can read some registers and know that that RAM is connected through this way, or that you have these audio settings to set up because most of the registers you can easily read them back on audio codec. And like audio codec was one error which was particularly bad because it's slightly different on every machine, but it follows the same pattern. But most people just didn't care about audio. So why not do this stuff automatically? Because it is easy to discover, and people are quite bad at remembering it. So that started a small project to get these parts automated. And then I went a little bit further. How much of the port can we do automatically? Let's not talk about unsupported chipsets. This is hard tasks, but for supported chipsets. And the result is that we can do actually most of it. So here I have a machine which is Macbook Air 4.2. It's something that I got for free because a coworker of mine was moving from Zurich to Seattle, and he didn't want to carry it around. It has a broken screen, but we don't really care. And this is the first test. Well, it's not the first test anymore, but it's one of the tests of Autoport. Current stages, it just is running Autoport and small patch on top of it, is that you can get to Linux. You don't have native graphics in it because this machine uses embedded DisplayPort and not LVDS. Our current native video unit supports only LVDS. But you can get all the way to Linux. The battery indicator doesn't work. Right now the Wi-Fi will not work, but it's nothing to do with Coreboot. Just on this test Linux, I don't have the necessary blobs. Yeah, and that's pretty much it with the problems. Do you want me to show it boot?
Yes.
Here I have USB debug console. One funny thing is that since it was auto-ported, Autoport could not discover the right USB debug port automatically. So Coreboot itself does not have output yet. So here we got into the grub shell over USB debug. That's a test machine, so no, it doesn't go automatically to Linux. Unfortunately, here I haven't enabled the output on a USB debug console, and but yeah, for those of you in the room, let's try and turn this one around.
Can we just use that screen share? Can you enable this one?
Yeah, so you see, it has booted into Linux. We have done a little bit of testing around. Hotkeys work, USBs work, micro SD works. We couldn't test the webcam. We couldn't test Wi-Fi. Touchpad works, keyboard works. Battery indicator does not work. So this is a result. And now to show you the code, which is, for convenience, I have split the code into two parts. One part is auto-generated, and another part is the one which I modified.
Can you increase the size of the fonts?
So this auto-generated part, let's look at the stat. And not too big, 867 lines. But on top of it, first batch is because this MacBook Air has soldered the drum and not socketed, which couldn't be discovered by Autoport yet. So just hardcode the SPD, small patch, and another one is just to disable native VGA, which doesn't work anyway. And this, of course, it's not a complete port yet. You still need some ACPI code because it's different for every machine. But this improves accuracy of the ports because, like, all the audio in it is already in it, and everything which could be discovered automatically is, and usually it's more accurate. And the code which generates it is also available in the repository. It's under Tools, Autoport, and then you have the Autoport. Well, here I have a few other files not really related, but the structure is that for every component you have a separate Go file, which parses the logs from the machine. For example, for audio, you have this one. It's pretty short. The logs are dumped with normal Intel tools, and I can show you how you can run it. And then Autoport, if you look at the help, there are only three options. One where you use your Coreboot, where to put the port. One where to put the logs or to read the logs. And one if you want the logs dumped from your current machine, or if you want just reuse the logs from the directory. I recommend dumping logs once and then converting on another machine from which you will be flashing, but that doesn't really matter. So, yeah, this is kind of a new interesting way of porting. Any questions, remarks, discussions?
Yeah, is that a Sandy Bridge?
Yeah, it's Sandy Bridge based laptop.
Cool.
And Currently, it works for Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge, I-945. It's easy to expand it to the other chipsets. It's just that I didn't get around to it. The main reason why it's not automatic to expand to other Intel chipsets is not even that they're fundamentally different, but just because we write code differently for different chipsets without any good reason. Well, other than historicals. Like, for example, the way how we configure GPIO is different on 945, it's different on Sandy Bridge, and it's different on Haswell.
Different everywhere.
Yeah. And the registers on the actual hardware are less different than what we have in the code. And so it's kind of one thing that we could improve. And we should also write in the Autoport also something which helped pinpoint this stuff like this and to improve also this side, because like for example we had some large chunks which are copied in every main board which should belong to South Bridge. And we perhaps often don't even need any configuration from main board, or just a small configuration.
Yeah, pretty awesome.